Hello， 各位大家好啊！咁今日就多謝大家嚟參加我哋呢一個嘅 section 啦。咁今日就邀請咗我哋 St Clare Oxford 嘅一個 representative Chris 同我哋嚟傾下偈啦。咁呢間學校就主要佢都係 provide 翻啲 IB 課程俾香港同埋即係英國嘅學生嘅。咁今日請佢過嚟就可能講一講學校嘅 facilities 啦，佢哋嘅收生啊，或者可能佢哋學校有啲乜嘢 offer 俾我哋香港嘅學生嘅。咁好啦，事不宜遲，我哋邀請阿 Chris 入嚟啦。Hello Chris.
Hello, hi. So my name is Chris Osborne. I'm the registrar from St Clare's, Oxford. So we're an international school. We're located just 1 mile from the city centre in Oxford. Oxford's about 100 kilometres from London. And we've been offering IB courses since 1977. That's longer than any other school in England. So really proud of that. We're a well-established IB school. At the moment, we've got about 260 students taking both the IB diploma and a 1-year pre-IB course. We've always been quite a popular destination for Hong Kong students. They like the idea of studying in Oxford. They like the idea of coming to a truly international school where we've got a really good mix of nationalities, over 40 different nationalities at the moment. And the great thing is that our nationalities are as such that there's no one group that's too big. So at the moment, if you take Hong Kong students, it's less than 10% at the moment. We like a few more. We like our Hong Kong students, but there certainly aren't too many of any one nationality. So I believe, Jennifer, we have some questions that we're going to work through, right?
Yeah. So before that, I'm just going to do like a quick translation.
Of course.
So
先
就講Chris 就講到咧，其實 St Clare 咧就係一間 Oxford 嘅 international school 啦，國際學校。咁其實喺英國嘅話咧，都唔會太多學校會 offer 呢個 IB program 嘅。咁如果你話 St Clare 嘅話，其實就全英國歷史最悠久嘅一間 IB 學校啦。咁本身間學校就唔係太多人嘅，即係200幾個學生，咁就提供翻 pre-IB 嘅課程啦，同埋 IB 課程嘅。咁呢間學校其實主要嘅特點就係佢雖然係一間 international school， 但係佢哋國際學生嘅收生比例做得好好嘅。如果你話香港學生嘅話，其實全校只佔10% 左右嘅啫。咁大部分嘅學生可能其他都係嚟自歐洲啊，或者可能美國啊，或者本地嘅學生嚟嘅。咁就唔會淨係一間純即係好多international college 會聽到嘅問題就係大部分都係亞洲嘅學生。咁呢一間學校就唔會有咁嘅情況發生咯。咁陣間可能都會再講多少少唔同嘅問題啦。咁希望大家有啲乜嘢問題都可以 comment below. Yes, sure, Chris. So I think we're gonna go through some of the questions.
Sure.
First, I think most popular questions that is being asked throughout many schools is the COVID policies that the school has. Is there any the student wear masks and how many students in class? Any special arrangement for sports program of after school activities?
Yeah, of course. So just to begin with the earlier part of that question, yeah, I think most schools in England are following the advice of the BSA, the Boarding Schools Association, and that at the moment is that students should wear face masks, definitely in corridors and in communal areas. And we've actually got them wearing face masks in classes as well, just to be on the safe side. And we think it's working because so far we've had no positive cases, which we're really, really pleased about. I know there are a number of schools that have, so we're quite pleased with that. Obviously, we've got hand sanitizer stations everywhere. We've got one-way systems in corridors. So we've really tried to make a good effort to make sure that the students, not only with face masks, but that they socially distance and that they wash their hands properly. And we've done quite a good job in terms of the sports. We're able to run most of our sports. So, for example, the gym is open now. And they can do sports like tennis, we're doing football, basketball, volleyball. Those sports are all taking place. But obviously, again, students are just taking extra care with hygiene, really. That would be the main difference at the moment. We are reviewing those policies. So after half term, we'll get the advice from the BSA again to see if we can relax, for example, the requirement for face masks. But I've got to say, I'm really, really impressed with the students. That the students have shown tremendous adaptability and cheerfulness. And I haven't heard a single student complaining about having to wear a mask, which is good. I think we're quite lucky in that we're not a hot country. If it was a hot country, maybe we would have more complaints. But the UK in the autumn is definitely not hot. So thankfully, face masks are being worn and the students are complying.
Okay, that's good to know. So 頭先 Chris 有講到啦，即係佢話其實學校範圍入邊咧，所有室內嘅環境，學生都需要戴翻口罩嘅。咁佢話其實暫時嚟講咧，好彩嘅就係 St Clare 冇任何嘅確診個案啦。咁各位學生都非常之合作嘅。咁佢話其實學校嘅範圍入邊咧，都會提供翻啲基本嘅設備啦，譬如話消毒酒精啊咁樣。咁同埋佢哋都英國好興嘅就係一個叫做 one way policy 嘅意思，就係可能出入行嗰個方向咧都係一條路咁樣去行嘅啫。咁就可能避免交叉感染啊咁樣。咁另外佢就有講到啦，話其實盡量都想提供翻少少活動俾啲學生，所以佢哋嗰個室內嘅 gym room 係開嘅，咁學生都得可以做少少嘅戶外活動啦，譬如話打 volleyball 啊、tennis 啊咁樣嗰啲都會有繼續進行嘅。咁其實而且學校都係跟翻英國有個叫做 BSA 嘅Boarding School Association 嘅建議啦，就跟足翻佢哋啲 policies 去到做嘅。咁佢話其實過咗呢個 half term break 之後咧，佢哋都會再問一問究竟 BSA 佢哋嗰邊有冇啲新嘅規例要跟翻啊，或者係學生喺咩時候都要繼續戴口罩啊，有冇啲新嘅嘢要 update 嘅。咁所以其實St Clare都叫做跟得好貼。咁佢話暫時咧好彩就係學生都未有 complain。即係大家都好遵守呢個規矩咁樣去到做咯。Yes, thank you.
Jennifer, you've got an amazing memory. Well done, thank you.
It's just yeah, because I'm dropping those every time you say something. So
right, fantastic. Sorry, there's just one other measure that you probably are aware of, but 2 days ago, Virgin Atlantic, British Airways, and Cathay Pacific are all offering now tests for anybody going to Hong Kong. And the test is recognised by the Hong Kong government. So it's great timing because it means our students can go home for half term without having to quarantine when they get to Hong Kong. So that's a really good sort of initiative that's just happened in the last 2 days. Again, helping us to cope with the COVID situation.
Yes, I believe the Heathrow Airport also provides the COVID testing.
Yeah, that's right. It's provided at Heathrow. Yeah, but
okay.
It costs £80. But it's very quick. You get the result really, really quickly.
I think it's within an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really good for the students because it means they can now go home for half term without having to quarantine, which is great news.
Sure. Oh, and just one follow-up question. For those students joining, like newcomers, when they return from Hong Kong, do they need to quarantine at school for the start the lessons?
Yes. So what we've done is basically for half term, because it's only a week, we've thankfully Hong Kong isn't on the quarantine list at the moment. So thankfully it doesn't affect Hong Kong students yet. But what we've done with students that are from countries that need to quarantine, we've advised them not to go back home for the half-term holiday. So they can either stay in our boarding accommodation, or they can make arrangements and go and visit other relatives in the UK, or they can go to another country that is on the approved list. But what we'll do after Christmas is if people are requiring to quarantine, then they'll quarantine in St Clare's and have their lessons online. But thankfully, as I say, Hong Kong at the moment is not on the UK quarantine list. But obviously, if we go to Hong Kong, we're on your list. Hence the tests that the airport just introduced.
Noted. 咁頭先 Chris 都有繼續補充啦，佢話其實由尋日開始咧，希斯羅機場咧都已經 provide 咗呢個核酸檢測俾所有嘅travellers 嘅意思就即係其實俾翻80磅嘅話咧，咁佢喺機場1個鐘頭內就做咗呢個核酸檢測，咁會有包埋一個結果嘅，咁翻嚟香港嘅時候就已經可以提供翻呢個健康報告俾政府啦。咁另外佢話學校嗰邊都有講啦，其實暫時香港嚟講咧都仲係一個 safety bubble， 意思即係唔需要隔離嘅。如果你飛翻過去嘅話，咁佢話如果遲啲香港需要隔離嘅話，譬如話你放完聖誕假翻嚟嘅話，如果需要隔離，咁學校都會提供翻喺佢哋 boarding house 嗰度做翻一個隔離，咁上堂嘅話咧就會網上咁樣，咁就盡量 fulfill 翻政府嘅要求咯。Thank you, Chris. So I think the next question is regarding some boarding facilities. I think many students new to like boarding life, they would like to know like how many students do they share a room with, and what are the boarding facilities or like school facilities as St Clare has.
Sure. So students on the pre-IB course and the first year of the IB would share a room, and we always make sure it's with somebody of a different nationality. In the second year of the IB, the students are a little bit older, maybe want a bit more privacy and a bit more peace for studying for their exams, so they would have single rooms. Students in quarantine obviously have been in single rooms. Most of the rooms are en suite at St Clare's. We've still got a small number which aren't, in which case, you know, the bathroom might be just in the corridor next to the room. But yeah, so the facilities are pretty good. And you can get, you know, the video tour that you'll see after this does show you the inside of some rooms so you can have a look.
Sure. 咁頭先都有問到啦，咁究竟St Clare 呢間學校佢boarding 嗰陣咧，嗰啲寄宿係個生活係點樣樣，或者需唔需要同人哋 share 房間嘅咧？咁佢話如果參加 Pre-IB 嘅課程，即係可能11年班插班嘅話咧，咁你就會同一個第二個國家嘅學生去 share 一間房嘅。咁佢話盡量就會安排唔同國籍嘅學生一齊啦。咁希望嘅就係你喺房入邊咧，依然都仲係講緊英文嘅。咁佢話去到IB 啦，即係12年班、13年班嘅話，咁可能學生大啲都想有翻少少個人私隱空間嘅，咁所以所有學生都要做翻 single room，咁就自己一間房啦。係。Thank you. So next question we have what kind of university support would the school offer for our sixth form students?
Okay, so we've got 2 full-time careers and higher education advisors. And they don't do anything else. They're not teachers. They don't have any other role. They're just here to advise the students about what they would do after St Clare's. So we begin by getting them to think about themselves and think about their future. And it's really one skill that we try and teach them while they're here is decision making. And then once they've decided what they want to do, we would help them with the application process. They would get a lot of information. And then once they actually start the application process, we help them with the application form, prepare them for the interview and so on. In terms of the university destinations that we have, hugely varied. The great thing about the IB, as I'm sure you're aware, is that it's very international. So we get students applying to the UK, to the US, Canada, Hong Kong. HKU is quite a popular destination. Also, we get students going to Oxford or Cambridge and also for medicine, and they get a lot of help and support in addition to the other students, because those are really competitive programs. Should I let you translate and then I'll carry on?
Sure. 頭先都有問過啦，我話咁其實大部分家長都會想知道嘅就係學校點樣幫到啲學生去到安排佢哋大學嘅 application 啦。因為其實 St Clare 好好嘅，佢哋有2個 full time 嘅同事咧，就淨係幫學生去到做呢啲大學嘅規劃同埋安排嘅。咁佢話其實每一個學生都會見翻呢2個 staff 去到做 application 啦，咁亦都會幫你 narrow down 講究竟佢哋大學志願係乜嘢，你嘅翻究竟係去英國原校先上去啊，定係翻嚟香港，定係可能會去加拿大或者美國咁樣樣。咁佢話其實過往咧都有學生翻嚟香港讀翻港大啦，咁佢話亦都有啲學生係去咗美國讀書或者翻英國嘅。咁佢話過往嘅成績嘅話咧，都有好多學生去入翻銀鐘劍橋嘅嗰度讀書都有嘅。
And we also have various events as well. So like we have an HE fair every October. Unfortunately, this year it had to take place online, but we had something like 80 different universities who would normally come to the school and talk to the students. We have guest speakers every week. We organise visits to universities. Also, we help them. It's not just their university application. It's things like if they want to take a gap year, we can advise them as to how best to use that gap year so that they're doing something constructive, but also that will help them in their future with their university application and their job after that. And so we take a lot of time with each student. So there's quite a bit of group work and they have lectures and presentations, but the students can have individual meetings with either of the careers and higher education advisors. So they get lots and lots of support. And sometimes the parents have questions as well. That's no problem at all. So they get a lot of support, both in groups and individually. And I think that's one of the reasons why our university destinations are really impressive and very varied.
OK，佢話其實除咗有好多即係support 去到 guide 翻學生點樣做呢啲大學嘅準備之外啦，咁佢話其實咧佢哋每年都有呢啲大學嘅升學展咁樣樣嘅，咁就邀請咗80幾間嘅大學 representative 嚟見呢啲學生，可能介紹翻間大學係點樣，有啲咩課程啊，佢哋個收生比例係點樣樣嘅。咁佢話除咗呢啲之外咧，佢話都會請好多 guest speaker 嚟學校講啦，咁可能講下呢一間學校個生活係點啊，或者可能會俾多少少 career advice 嘅，譬如話呢一個行業係點樣做嘅，咁俾翻多啲 idea 啲學生啦。咁另外就佢話其實有啲學生會考慮可能會做一啲 gap year 嘅，即係可能唔係即刻入大學，會用1年時間去到做一啲可能internship 啊 working experience 啊咁 咁樣樣。咁可能成 class 都會同個學生分析咧，究竟有啲乜嘢出路，或者可能有啲乜嘢嘅 opportunity 可以俾翻個學生揀嘅，係啦。
Perfect.
All right. Let's see. One common question, I think, because many parents are usually deciding whether if they are going to the UK, should they be studying the A-Levels or the IBDP? So
Right.
what kind of students are suitable for the program?
That's a really good question. I think the big difference between the two programs is that with the IB, you're doing 6 subjects over both years. And those are very varied because you have to do literature, you have to do a second language, you have to pick science, you have to pick maths, and so on. So it's very varied. Whereas if you do A-Levels, you could just do 3 subjects in maths, chemistry, and physics, and not do any literature or any humanities. So it depends. I think if the student has got a really clear idea of what they want, and they're quite happy to focus in quite a narrow focus on that target, such as science or engineering, then I think A-Levels is probably a good program. But if the student wants a more broad education and maybe wants to keep options open in different areas, then the IB is good as well. And just give you a quick example. For example, if a student wants to do medicine at university, they must take IB subjects, chemistry and biology in higher level. But let's say if they took history as well, if they suddenly change their mind and no longer want to do medicine and they suddenly decide they want to do law, then they're fine. They're absolutely fine. So I think it's really good for students who are looking for a broad program and maybe are trying to keep different doors open for different careers.
Okay. 佢頭先就問到啦，話其實好多香港家長都會諗咯，如果小朋友過到去嘅話，其實應該係跟翻佢哋讀 A-Level 課程啊，定係 IB 嘅課程？咁我哋都有問到話，其實究竟乜嘢學生會比較適合讀呢個 IB 課程嘅咧？咁其實 Chris 都有解釋到話，本身 IB 咧都要讀翻6科，咁所以佢話需要學生可能對英文啊、數學啊、science 啊、文科啊都要有相當嘅興趣喺度先會讀到呢幾科嘅。咁佢話同埋好處嘅就係，如果一個學生已經有明確嘅目標啦，即係知道自己要讀啲乜嘢嘅話，咁其實 IB 淨係讀3科嘅話係比較適合嘅。但係佢話，如果佢頭先俾咗一個好好嘅 example， 就係話如果個學生要讀醫科嘅，咁佢 suppose 咧IB 嘅時候佢已經 high level 應該要讀 chemistry 同埋 biology 嘅。但係如果佢將來諗住轉嘅話咧，咁因為佢讀過 IB， 佢都要讀文科噶嘛。咁譬如話佢有讀過 history 嘅話咧，咁佢都可以去讀翻法律系，所以就多啲 option 會俾個學生去度揀咁樣樣咯。Yes.
I think the other thing as well is that the A-Level program, it really is just the academic subjects and that's pretty much it. Whereas with the IB, you've got to do the CAS program, and I know you're going to ask questions about that later on. So that's the activities program, which everybody has to do, and I'll explain that in a moment. You also have to do something called Theory of Knowledge, which is like a philosophy course. It's only 1 hour a week, and students write an essay in the second year about theory of knowledge. And they also have the extended essay, which is a 4,000-word research dissertation that students do. So there's all these other extra elements as well as the 6 subjects. And when you come to apply for a university or to get a job later on, the fact that you've been able to balance your studies with these extra elements, first of all, I think makes you a more rounded person. And secondly, it's a very attractive package for any potential university or employer.
Okay. I am an IB student myself.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was much more easier to adapt to university when you have took
Yeah. We've heard so many students say that. I mean, I think it probably is probably, if I'm being honest, I think the IB is harder work than A-Levels because of some of the things that we just talked about and the fact that there are 6 subjects. But if you can do it, if you're organized and you learn to balance all of those things successfully, then as you quite rightly say, Jennifer, you're much better equipped for university. And my background is in university. I used to work for University of Cambridge and King's College London. And we found that the students that did the IB, it's not fair to say they were better students, but they were definitely better prepared for university.
所以頭先Chris 都另外再加多少少咧，佢就話其實除咗A-Level program 嘅話就簡單少少，即係可能真係好academic focus 嘅，即係可能淨係讀 嗰個課程，咁就冇乜其他嘢要做嘅啫。但係 IB 課程其實香港家長都知道啦，除咗讀6科之外咧，你都仲要額外讀多3樣嘢嘅。咁分別就係一個 class 啦，即係可能要做翻啲 service hours 啊，或者可能要出去做好多活動嘅。咁另外就要上翻一個叫做 TOK 同埋 EE 嘅課程啦。咁 TOK 嘅話其實就係學一啲philosophy 嘅議題啦。咁另外 extended essay 咧，其實佢要寫一篇論文去交翻俾學校度講關於你遲啲可能大學想讀嘅 subject 嘅。咁其實佢就Crystal 話，其實讀咗 IB 嘅學生咧，個人比較 all-rounded 啲，咁同埋你要讀6科要做咁多嘢嘅話，其實就幫個學生去到準備你大學嘅時候，即係 time management 啊，點樣做得更加好咯。Thank you. Oh, so last questions. You mentioned like class hours before. How does the school like provide opportunities for students to fulfill their class hours?
Right. Again, really excellent question. I think because we only do the IB, so we've got 260 odd students doing IB courses, and they all have to do CAS. We've got a very good CAS department. We've got 3 full-time members of staff in our activities department, and it's them that provide the CAS program. So you've got the creativity, the action, and the service. So things like creativity would be things like music, art, action would be sports, and service would be anything that benefits the college or the local community, like visiting the elderly or doing anything to do with the environment or the school magazine, that kind of thing. So I think because everybody here has to do CAS, we've got a really good way of providing it. We've got something like 90 different CAS activities. And the wonderful thing about being in Oxford is if a student wants to do something that we can't offer, then we can put them in touch with a local club. So like, for example, we've got an American girl here at the moment who does ballet to a really high standard. Now, obviously, we can't offer her tuition in that, but she's joined a local ballet club, which is connected with the university, so that she goes there for her training. That's just one example. We've got lots of examples like that. So yeah, I think we can offer a really excellent CAS program. Even at the moment with social distancing, we're able to offer a huge range of different activities.
Sure. 咁頭先就問到啦，我話其實學校點樣幫啲學生去到做呢啲嘅 class hours。咁譬如如果讀緊國際學校嘅家長學生都會知道啦，其實好多時候香港嘅國際學校未必 provide 得到咁多呢啲activities 俾學生去到做 class， 可能你要額外俾錢去出邊去到做嘅。咁譬如話St Clare 好好嘅就係其實佢本身有4個 full time 嘅 staff 去到做 provide 90幾種嘅呢啲 class activities 嘅。咁譬如話佢會做翻一啲義工啦，跟住你會做活動啊，做運動啊，跟住又會做一啲可能 creative 啲嘅活動，咁俾你 fulfill 呢一個 program 嘅。咁佢就話譬如話佢哋最近有個美國嚟嘅同學啦，咁佢原來係跳緊芭蕾舞已經去到好高級㗎啦。咁可能學校 provide 唔到佢呢個老師俾佢嘅話，咁佢就要揾可能當地嘅大學去到幫手。咁而家呢個女仔咧就喺出邊度學下芭蕾啦，所以佢話就算都盡量 fulfill 翻學生需要嘅嘢咁樣樣咯。Yeah.
Great.
So, I think that's all the questions we have for today.
Fantastic.
I believe you have a video to show all our audience on St Clare's.
So welcome to St Clare's. This is our main building here at 139 Banbury Road. This is the main campus for the IB World School, which we'll give you a tour of now. So we'll go into reception and we'll start by talking a bit about the history of the school, and then we'll go around and look at classrooms and various other facilities as well, including the accommodation. Okay, come with me. Okay, so this is the lady that founded St Clare's in 1953. This is Anne Dridle, who, along with the lady on the other portrait, Pamela Morris, they formed the school in 1953. Very much as an international school, we're deliberately international. We've got students from over 44 different nationalities here at the moment on IB courses, and that is very much in keeping with the sort of vision that she had for the school. We've been offering IB courses since 1977, which is longer than any other school in England, which again reflects that internationalism that we have. Anne actually began by teaching in her living room in her house just around the corner. She was teaching groups of women literature courses to begin with, and she gradually expanded the school. But she was very clever about acquiring property that was close by. So today we now have 27 buildings, but they're all within a maximum of 5 minutes walk from where we are at the moment. And we'll go to some of those buildings during our tour today. But in the meantime, this map shows you quite a good overview of how the buildings are integrated into this suburb within St Clare's. So all the buildings are within a maximum of 5 minutes walk from where we are now. So at the moment we're in this building here. We've got accommodation here and here, the library, dining room, humanities department, accommodation, the new art department and new accommodation is there. And to give you an idea, that's about 3 minutes walk. So everything is within a maximum of 5 minutes walk from where we are now. Okay, so in this building we have a lot of administration, but also some classrooms at the top. So we'll go and take a look. So on this floor we've got various classrooms, and this is really where the English department is. So you'll notice during our tour that the subjects that are taught are clustered in different areas of the college. So I say this is where the English lessons take place. So we're going to go in and have a pre-IB English class with me.
Good morning. Hello, good morning. This is pre-IB English. And we're just with a documentary by Bruce Parry called Amazon. So they're now writing a speech. Can you tell us about that, Anastasia?
So tribes in Amazon are facing a lot of problems, and we have to pretend that we are a member of one of the tribes. So we have to write a speech addressing to UN or MUN, it depends on how old we are, to tell about the problems and to maybe offer the way to solve them.
Great, you did the job.
And could I just get the rest of the students to introduce yourselves? So starting with you, okay, just go around the room and just say who you are, where you're from. That'd be brilliant. Thanks.
So my name is Olga and I'm from Poland. I'm Liane and I'm from France.
My name is Konstantin and I'm from Russia.
My name is Sofia, I'm from Russia. My name is Anastasia and I'm from Russia.
My name is Eileen and I'm from Russia, Germany and Switzerland.
Yeah, 3 nationalities. We've probably got different nationalities in the room as well. It says, who's got more than one nationality? Is it just you, Eileen? Yeah, and I'm Sophie, and I'm a UK citizen. I don't have shared dual nationality, sadly. But I did used to live in France, which we've just been talking about.
Good.
Yeah.
Great, well enjoy the rest of your lesson. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, bye.
So we'll go on to the floor as well. So here we have another English classroom. Again, this is pre-IB. So let's go in and see what they're up to. Okay, so Alex, what are the class up to?
Okay, we've been looking at a podcast here, looking about overcoming fear and trying to learn some tips that students could learn for their studies to help them set some goals and be better for the future. That's what we've been doing.
So should we just find out who they are? So Cyrus, do you want to start?
Hello, I'm Cyrus and I'm from France.
Hi, I'm Sylvia. I live here but I'm from Spain.
I'm Alessandro and I come from Italy.
I'm Yasmin and I come from Hong Kong.
I'm Leah and I come from the United States.
Great. Thank you very much. It's the break time very soon, so I'll let you get finished so that you'll... Thank you very much. As mentioned, break time any moment now. So what we'll do, there's only one place to be at break time, and that's the Sugar House. So let's go there. So the social centres of the college. It's like a snack bar, tuck shop. It's an area where students can go. Break time now. So let's go to lunch. The Sugar House opens until 10 on most nights. So it's an area where they can come and socialise here in the evening. See, they have lots of good food, and the students can get their lunch here if they don't want to go to lunch in the dining room, which we'll see later on.
Come to St Clare, it's a great opportunity. And the food is really good.
Let's head over to some of the other buildings, starting with the library. I just bumped into one of our British students.
I just think that it's like an amazing opportunity to meet, like, I don't know, I have friends now from everywhere and I can go and see them and I don't know, it's just amazing to meet people from all kinds of places that you wouldn't meet in any other abroad, maybe doing my TEFL and maybe working in a Spanish-speaking country to improve my Spanish.
Right.
So yeah.
So being in this international environment will
Yeah.
help you
No,
with that. Yeah,
definitely,
fantastic.
sure.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Alright.
Lily. Enjoy the rest of the break.
Thanks. Yeah,
Okay,
thank
see you. This is the library, and as you can see, this is quite a vast building. It must have been an amazing house in its day, but the whole building is the library, so it's really well stocked. It's a really, really good resource for the students. We've got over 30,000 books in there, as well as sort of various online resources as well. So let's take a look. This is the reception area where we keep newspapers and magazines from all around the world. In here we have history, as you can see. And we've got a very good literature department through here. With most students taking their mother tongue as their literature subject, our collection of literature has to reflect that. So you can see here we've got Russian literature, Ukrainian, Bulgarian, Chinese, we've got German just there, this is the English section, we've got Spanish and Italian, Scandinavian, French over there. So as I mentioned, a really, really well stocked library. And the great thing about being in Oxford is that we've got teachers for all of these literature subjects. So we've got a Bulgarian teacher, we've got a Ukrainian teacher, and so on. So nobody's self-taught, and it means that we offer a really good range of literature subjects as the Group 1 subject on the IB diploma. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other rooms within the library. This is quite a nice workroom where the students can come and study, and they have a lot of access to the library. It's open till 9:30 most nights, it's open at weekends, and the student houses are all within a maximum of 5 minutes walk from here, but a lot of them are closer than that. It's just somewhere where the students can come and work and study together. So this is the dining room. So this is where the students come for 3 meals a day. They also have catering at the weekend, and all of the students eat here. So it's really good. So no matter which house they live in, they all come together for meals. So the meals tend to be some quite sociable occasions as well, which is really good. So let's go and take a look. So each day the menu appears on the screen. So you can see there's quite a lot of choice there. There's always a vegetarian option, and the screen gives all sorts of details about allergies and what the food contains. And there's a real emphasis on healthy eating here, which is really good. So you can see it's largely self-service. So the students choose a dish, some side dishes through the walkway here. And through here we've got what I believe is one of the college's nicest gardens. This is the garden at the back of the dining room. So when the weather is better, the students can come out here and eat. You can see we've got tables out here. And it's just a really nice, you need to use your imagination a bit on a day like today. But the blossom's beautiful. And as I say, we do get some really good weather here in the autumn, in the spring, and of course in the summer as well. New place. So this is the building directly next to the dining room, and this is a building which holds classrooms for humanities subjects. So things like history, economics, business, some languages. It also houses the music department. So let's go and take a look. Classroom here is used for business and economics. So So you can see it's fairly small. The average class size here is 9, the maximum is 15, so the groups are really small. So obviously each student gets quite a lot of attention from the teacher, but also it means that the teachers really get to know the students. They'll get to know the students' strengths and weaknesses, which means that although we're in a classroom setting, the students get a lot of really good individual support from the teachers, and that's a feature of all subjects across the college. And this is a history classroom. Again, you can see quite small. This is a really lovely area where students can just come and sit and play, or if they're having an individual lesson, that can take place here as well. It's a really beautiful piano. Okay, so we're now at the music department, and at the moment a lot of our lessons are taking place online. So if we go into the music department in a second, you'll see an example of a lesson being taught online. This is simply due to the current situation that's going on in the UK and indeed many other schools. So let's go in. This is the music department, and there's a music class going on online. There's one student in there, and the rest of the students are being taught through Microsoft Teams.
Fantastic. So on the files folder for you, I have put the art chorale that you might like to do, but because I'm being kind, I've also put 2 extra Bach chorales so you can have a choice. Would you go and have a look at that now for me?
Is it in creating?
It's under creating, and then it's under Bach chorales from memory.
Is it the coursework exercises?
Coursework exercises, and they're in Sibelius or in PDF format for now.
Okay.
Cool. You could use the real thing as practice.
We also have 2 more practice rooms along here. So this one here, which you may just be able to see, it's actually soundproofed. So if you've had a bad day and you want to come and bang the drums, you can do so and no one will hear you. Finally, we have this practice room as well, which again, students can come here and practice, or we use it for lessons as well. So we have piano lessons in here, singing lessons, and as you can probably tell, guitar lessons as well. And we also have humanities lessons in this building as well. So we've got here, this is one of our economics classes. And you can see only economists could draw graphs like that. But again, I think you're getting the idea that the rooms are all quite light, they're quite airy, and that's deliberate. Really good sort of environments that are conducive to learning in. I think that's what we've tried to create. I think we've done a very good job of that. So what we'll do now is we'll go and have a look at one of the student houses, because that's important. I think it's good to see where the students actually live. So this is house 127. So there's some general information about the house, and also the signing in sheet and so on. So every house has a house warden. So that's an adult member of staff who lives in the house. So that's a self-contained apartment, and they're here to take care of the students. They don't tend to be around during the daytime, but they're here in the afternoons and in the evenings, and the students have got their contact details in case there are any emergencies. The students here do have quite a lot of freedom. They can come and go between the buildings to visit their friends, they can go to the library, they can go to the sugar house. If they want to leave this immediate area, they have to let their house warden know. But they can do that and they can go to the city centre. There's a very strict curfew. They've got to be back at 11 o'clock in the week at midnight on Friday and Saturday, and that's very strict. So at curfew, the doors are alarmed, so if they try and sneak in late, they're going to wake the whole house up. And also the warden will go around at the end of each evening to each room, just to sort of check that the students are there and check that they're okay and they're happy and that everything's all right. And obviously the parents have the contact details of the house warden, very important part of the pastoral care that we have. And the house wardens are all really sort of enthusiastic, social members of staff. So we tend to find that students tend to form pretty good relationships with their house wardens. The houses have meetings every Monday night, chaired by the house warden, and also each house has an elected member on the student council, and every term, every house has what's known as a house social, so they'll go out for an evening, cinema or pizza or whatever. So the houses, it's where the student sleeps, but it's also part of the sort of social fabric of the college. Every house has a common room, like this one. So this is an area where there's somewhere to sit, they've got a TV, and also quite a nice little kitchen area where they can make a snack or a hot drink. But as I said, they have their main meals in the dining room, which we saw earlier on. So this is quite a very good example of a shared room. So as you can see, very tidy. So everybody has a desk and a wardrobe, and in this case they don't have ensuite, but there's a washroom just next door. There's a cleaner that comes every day and they clean the students' rooms, and as far as laundry is concerned, we provide the bedclothes and the towels, and they get changed for the students every week with us doing the laundry. But for their own clothes, they have to do their own clothes in the laundry. So every house has its own laundry. So this is the laundry for this house. So you can see, this is really the only domestic thing that they have to do, because their meals are all provided, their rooms are cleaned. It's really just their own laundry, and there's an ironing board there as well. Okay. So we saw a shared room earlier on, and this is an example of a single room. And just to explain that everybody in the first year and in the pre-IB shares a room, always with somebody of a different nationality. And then when students are in the second year, they can choose a single room, of which this is a very good example. And as you can see, though, again, they've got a desk, they've got a wardrobe, they can decorate their room if they want to. And obviously there's Wi-Fi in all of the schoolhouses. So we're now at the building that I think is furthest away from where we started. So yeah, 3-4 minutes walk. Now as you can see, this is quite an old building. In fact, the front of it is actually listed. But about 4 years ago, we spent a lot of money on this site. We refurbished the old house. This is our boys' IB house. And you can see new buildings at the side. We built new accommodation for the pre-IB students and a brand new art department. So let's go and take a look. So as you can see, this is a very active and busy art department. And as mentioned before we came in, the building is quite new. It was built about 4 years ago, very carefully designed. So you'll see the main source of natural light actually faces northwards, which is better for shadows. And as you can tell, it's just been a really well-designed facility, and by our head of art, who's actually in there conducting an online lesson at the moment. Otherwise he'd come and talk to us. And the students can use this out of class time if they want to. So we're now in the courtyard outside of the art department. So just to explain how this looked before, the art department used to be over there. It was in a converted chapel, it was just there. So we had that demolished, and we built a new art department here. And we then built at the bottom there, that's the girls' pre-IB accommodation, and we've got the boys' pre-IB accommodation here. And this is the old house, which houses mainly, it's a boys' house, it's mainly IB students, but there's a few pre-IB students in there as well. This wing is sometimes known as the garden pavilion, and you can see why. We really are literally in the garden, which is fantastic, especially at the moment with the spring flowers coming up. And it's lovely in here in the summer as well. So let's go and have a look at some rooms. So this is a typical pre-IB room. So this is our newest accommodation. So these rooms were all designed, so they're all sharing rooms. They've all got an ensuite bathroom, which I'll show you in a second. And the girls facing this direction look out over the courtyard where we just were. That's the art department there in the old house over there. So you can see they each have a desk area. There's drawer space under the beds, and they each have wardrobes. And also we have ensuite bathrooms as well. So this is an example, same kind of layout as the previous room, only instead of overlooking the courtyard, they're overlooking these woodlands at the back, which I think is equally a lovely view. Yeah. And this is a very tidy room. And same idea as the previous room, so they've got a washroom right here. So, just wanted to show you the warden's house here in the pre-IB house. Now these wardens are a bit more hands-on because the students are a bit younger. So Gwen and her partner are probably more available than the wardens in the other house. But from September, we're going to make sure that every house has got a member of staff available from 4:30 every day in case the students need any help. But yeah, this is where Gwen and Miles live, so they're the wardens for this house, the pre-IB house. So we'll head back to the main building and finish the tour there. Okay, so we're now back at the main building, and what we'll do now is we'll go through this gate and have a look at the back area of the main building where we started the tour, and look at the science blocks and the hall. We're at the back of the main building at 139 Banbury Road, the back of the sort of main building of the IB World School. And those English classes that we were visiting at the beginning of the tour, so those are up there, just to give you your bearings as to where we are. So what we'll do now is we'll go and have a look at the Maths and Science building. So this is the Pamela Morris building, named after one of the co-founders of the college. And as you can see, it's quite a new building. It was opened in September 2014. So on the ground floor, we've got 3 wonderful state-of-the-art science labs. So we have biology, we've got chemistry, and then physics at the end.
So last lesson. Which set do you want to play? Well, you'll get picked.
1.1.
Okay.
1.1. All right.
Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll go to the end and have a look at the physics lab. Sorry, Denise. So you can see a lot of thought went into the design of these labs, and you've probably noticed as well during the tour that this sort of horseshoe shape is quite a feature of a lot of St Clare's classes, so that the students are all facing the teacher, which is nice. And what we'll do now is we'll go upstairs and we'll have a look at the maths department. You can see a lot of thought's gone into the design of this building, lots of glass, lots of lovely light. It's a really sort of bright, no matter what the weather is, it's always bright and airy in here, which is fantastic. So we'll go into this maths classroom. Again, this looks like a pre-IB group. So we'll just go in and we'll just stay at the back and we'll see what they're doing.
What is it? 5. Yes, yeah, same. Was it easier to change it to the fraction form?
As you can see, it was a very small class because a lot of the students have actually left already because of the coronavirus situation. You saw earlier on that there was a music class going on online, and that's for the same reason. And this is the hall, which, as you can probably gather by the lights and this equipment here, we use this for theatre productions, music productions, concerts, drama. Some social occasions, we have international evening here. Also, we don't have daily assemblies, but we do have weekly year group meetings, and they take place in here as well. So they're one of the sort of only times in the week where the student year groups are gathered together. And I think there's the IB theatre students, as part of their coursework, they have to do a short sort of kind of solo play, a monologue. And I think that's what this is set up for. I think they did them last night. And again, sort of staff and teachers were invited to come along and watch. And here we've got the college's pastoral support, so we've got the pastoral vice principal and her assistant just there. And through here, we've got our careers and higher education department.
So hi, my name's Melanie. I'm the head of careers here at St Clare's, and I manage the team of myself, Helen and Tom, who are here to support students in all our year groups, not only with the university applications and decisions, but actually the whole process of understanding themselves and developing their careers toolkit so that they'll be able to go on and make careers decisions at all the points in their life after they leave here. We teach integrated careers lessons within the PSHE programme in Pre-IB, IB and IB for IB students, as well as the University Foundation programme. We also have drop-in sessions every day so students can come and talk to us one-to-one, and you're able to come and book appointments with us as many times as you like during your time here, so we don't put any limits on it. We support applications to every country that you would like to apply to, whether that's in English talk courses or to courses in your own language if you would like it. And we really work hard to make sure you get the opportunity to engage with universities and outside speakers by bringing them onto campus for events like our higher education fair and our launch day, but also running virtual sessions so you can engage with universities in the States where maybe only a couple of you are interested, but we can still make sure you get that interaction. The students really at the heart of everything we do, and we're incredibly proud of where our alumni go on to and how much they still engage with us. And so we share that research with you as well, so you can see where students before you have gone on to and be inspired to the kind of things that you can do.
And then there's information here about the activities programme. So at any IB school in the world, students have to do something called the CAS program. So creativity would be anything to do with art or music or anything that's creative. Activity would be sport. And service is anything that either benefits the environment or the school or the local community. And we've got, because we only do the IB, we've got large year groups in the IB, we're able to have a really, really good list of different CAS activities. You can find details about those on the website and also through the admissions office. And let me just show you this classroom as well. This room is for, we offer a science subject called Environmental Systems and Societies. So that would be taught in here. And it's kind of like a combination of geography and biology. And it's for students who need to take a science subject as part of the IB diploma, but perhaps don't want to do a sort of traditional laboratory science like physics or biology or chemistry. We've also got a college nurse on the site, and also there's a medical centre just across the street where the students are registered in case they need to see a doctor. Okay, so let's head this way. Okay, so we're back where we started. We're back in reception. We're back by Anne Drydel. So the tour's finished. So we hope that was useful and that you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed making it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us this morning today, Chris. So hopefully if we have more like interesting families, we'll be meeting you on fair on Saturday.
Well, thank you very much, Jennifer, for your wonderful translation services. And I look forward to being at the virtual fair on the 24th on Saturday. I think it will be a great event. As always, the Britannia events are always good, and I'm sure this one won't be any different. So look forward to that. Enjoy the video, and if you've got any questions that haven't been answered by this presentation, then contact either myself or any of the Britannia staff. We're always happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.